Welcome to the Single African Market Program, dedicated to bringing you all actions around the vision of Africa to connect its market together among all nations, among all citizens. And this week we are dedicating the program to Professor John Evans Atta Mills, the former president of the Republic of Ghana, who passed on about 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, I should say. And the Republic of Ghana has marked and celebrated Professor John Evans Atta Mills' 10th anniversary, the passing on of the former president of the Republic of Ghana. We on the Single African Market, we are dedicating this episode to Professor John Evans Atta Mills, particularly because of the significant and hugely important role that the late professor played in the integration agenda of the continent of Africa. Everyone around this particular vision recalls that somewhere around 2011, it was the late Professor John Evans Atta Mills who moved for the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and a lot of people are already attesting and hailing the late professor for that important role that he played ahead of the oncoming of the AfCFTA. This week, we are going to bring you a piece where some of these pundits, the players within this particular space, are recounting about the former president of the Republic of Ghana, John Evans Atta Mills, regarding his role when it comes to the AfCFTA. Professor John Evans Atta Mills was a Ghanaian politician and legal scholar who served as president of Ghana from 2009 until his death in 2012. He was previously the vice president from 1997 to 2001 under President Jerry Rawlings. He contested unsuccessfully in the 2000 and 2004 presidential elections as a candidate of the National Democratic Congress in Ghana. He was the first Ghanaian head of state to die in office. Professor Mills was born on 21st July 1944 in Takwa in the western region of Ghana. He attended one of Ghana's prestigious high schools, Achimota School, and the University of Ghana, Legon, where he completed a Bachelor of Law degree, LLB, and a professional law certificate in 1967. Professor Mills studied at the London School of Economics and Political Science, where he obtained an LLM in 1968 and earned a PhD in law at the School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS School of Law, part of the University of London. Professor Mills, like many of his predecessors, believed in the African and the agenda of Africans to integrate politically and economically. He is credited to have officially tabled the discussions that led to the establishment of the AfCFTA by African leaders at the ministerial conference held in Ghana in 2012.
It was the then president of Ghana, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, who formally tabled the decision for the establishment of the CFTA. The decision in 2012, in a sense, was the real starting point for discussions about the establishment of a continental free trade area.
His Excellency Kwesi Korte is immediate past Deputy Chair of the African Union Commission, former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, and former Executive Secretary to former President John Dramani Mahama.
Ghana was requested to host the ministerial conference. Having chaired the meeting, President Mills was then asked to come and give the keynote address. He spoke about the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. He spoke about the common market. He spoke about the common external tariff. He spoke about the free passport leading to a common citizenship. He spoke about free movement. He also talked about the common African airspace. All those ideas came to be adopted.
The leaders acknowledged that until the intervention of the late professor and former president of the Republic of Ghana, John Evans Atta Mills, the continent had been slow at taking steps towards continental economic integration.
In the Abuja Declaration, a roadmap was agreed on. Regrettably, between 1991 and the subsequent year, it was not possible for the roadmap to be actualized until 2012, when at the summit of the heads of states of the African Union, decided to fast-track the establishment of this single market for Africa.
On July 24, 2012, the law professor, former Vice President of Ghana, and the sitting President of the Republic of Ghana, was pronounced dead at the 37 Military Hospital in Ghana, making history as the first and only sitting president to die in office as President of the Republic of Ghana. The late and former president was widely perceived as a man of peace, which led to his nickname Asumdwehene, meaning the King of Peace. His burial park was thus named Asumdwe Park. In commemorating 10 years of the passing of the late President Mills, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo laid a wreath at the refurbished Asumdwe Park in honor of the distinguished statesman. Former President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, who was the Vice President to the late Professor John Evans Atta Mills, in commemorating the 10th anniversary of the professor's demise, described him as a man of honor and a dignified statesman whose love for his country, continent, and people was without question. On the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the passing of the former President, John Evans Fifi Atta Mills, affectionately called the King of Peace, we on the Single African Market continue to pray for his eternal rest and congratulate him for his role in bringing this vision of continental market integration closer to Africans than may have ever been. So quite a number of distinguished Africans have played tremendous roles when it comes to this whole agenda of integrating our continent economically. And from the days of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, also President Nyerere, and all of them have played significant roles. And in the middle, after those had played their roles back in the day, the recent generation of heads of states or recent generation of African leaders have equally played their roles. Prior to even the establishment, quite a number of African leaders have played their roles. And as you heard in that particular piece, the role that Professor John Evans Atta Mills, the former president of the Republic of Ghana, played in bringing about the establishment of the AfCFTA cannot be underestimated. That is why we paid attention to the role he played in this particular episode. Now, having played that important role, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, together with all our forefathers, all our African leaders who have struggled to play important roles, the current heads of states, the current leaders of the continent of Africa have ensured that this whole dream is now working, is now a working reality. The heads of state, from the South African president to the Rwandan president to our own president of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, they have ensured that we live the whole dream that our forefathers have established for us. Now, today we are lucky. About 50 ministers of trade and industries from across Africa have gathered in the commercial and trade hub of the continent of Africa, that's Accra, to agree and launch the Rules of Origin Manual. You recall that so far the Council of Trade Ministers have agreed on 87.7% of rules of origin so far. This week in Accra, they have launched the manual that contains the 87.7% rules of origin. They have also launched the e-tarrif book that is supposed to guide traders who will be trading across borders as far as knowing the tariffs offers in other countries are concerned. And then they have also agreed on a guided tour. This guided tour is supposed to set the tone for the rest of African businesses to also follow suit. So in the month of August and September, the AfCFTA Secretariat, as well as the National AfCFTA Office in Ghana, together with their counterparts in 7 other countries, includes Cameroon, Kenya, they are going to start or push for a guided tour that will set the first trading in motion. The 9th meeting of Council of Trade Ministers have been held in Accra, the trade and commercial hub of the continent of Africa, in preparation towards commercially meaningful trade under the AfCFTA among party states of the continent. The meeting first began with a handing over of its leadership positions, with the Trade Minister of Gabon, now hosting the chair position of the Council of Trade Ministers, taking over from the Trade Minister of the Republic of South Africa. Addressing the 9th meeting, Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, shed lights on the state of readiness of the AfCFTA, especially on institutions, key instruments, signatures and ratifications. On the schedules of tariff concessions, His Excellency Wamkele Mene said the AfCFTA state parties, non-state parties and customs unions continue to make submissions of provisional schedules of tariff concessions to the Secretariat in readiness for the start of commercially meaningful trade. The 9th meeting of the Council of Trade Ministers led to many groundbreaking announcements, including the launch of the Rules of Origin Manual, the e-tarrif book, the AfCFTA website, and the impending guided trade to officially signal the commencement of trading under the AfCFTA among 7 selected countries, namely Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Egypt, Mauritius, and Cameroon, as state parties that have expressed interest in being part of the initiative representing the 5 regions in Africa. The Council of Trade Ministers agreed that the AfCFTA guided trade will gather countries among the 29 who have submitted their tariff schedules and have expressed their interest in trading to initiate trading with the guidance of the Secretariat. Some benefits expected from the AfCFTA guided trade include testing the environmental, legal and trade policy basis for trade under the AfCFTA, demonstrate that the AfCFTA is functioning, send an important political message to countries that are yet to submit their provisional schedules of tariff concessions in accordance with the agreed modalities, and give hope to the continent that trading under the AfCFTA is achievable. On the sidelines of the Council of Trade Ministers Conference, the AfCFTA Secretariat and the AfDB, that's African Development Bank, also signed a protocol of agreement with a fund of about $11 million US for institutional support for the implementation of the AfCFTA, plus other MOUs. The Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, and the African Development Bank's Acting Vice President for Regional Development, Integration and Business Delivery signed the protocol of agreement for the grant of $11.24 million US for AfCFTA implementation. The Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, welcomed the support of the bank and described it as a clear indication of a strategic partnership that will strengthen the capacity of the Secretariat and facilitate the start of commercially meaningful trade under the AfCFTA preferences. So the National Coordination Office is preparing feverishly towards the implementation of the AfCFTA, particularly from the Ghana side, and preparing also for commercially meaningful trade on the continent, again from the Ghana side. Now in Ghana, the country is launching the AfTA policy framework and action plan, for instance, this week. And next week, definitely we'll bring you that particular action that took place, the launch of the National AfTA Policy Framework and Action Plan by the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the National Coordination Office. Was launched, or is being launched, by the President of the Republic of Ghana there. That shows you the preparations that are going on, all in readiness for commercially meaningful trading on the continent of Africa. And Ghana is now sitting aloof. They want to ensure that they lead this so that they can gain from it. I sat down with the communication strategist of the National Communications Office of the AfCFTA to find out the direction and the paradigm where the wind is blowing all of us.
Just this Monday, the 9th Council of Ministers of Trade meeting, very significant achievements and milestones were chalked. The first and foremost one is the e-tarrif book. I mean, the AfCFTA Secretariat assiduously has worked on where people from anywhere in the world, but most importantly Africa, can have an access to the e-tariffs. What is the tariff regime like in Burkina Faso if I'm trading with Ghana and Burkina, or Rwanda and Kenya? So they've launched, and they have actually gotten the physical books and the digital version as well.
Okay.
And we also have the rules of origin for all the products that can go through customs across the 55 African countries. That is also comprehensively put together and also launched. And the booklet was physically given at the meeting right here in Ghana, the commercial capital of Africa. But what's important and significant as one of the outcomes of this 9th meeting was the decision by the stakeholders to embark on a guided trade trip.
I see.
And those of us here at NCO and the Secretariat, we are very much the ones, you would say, putting the legs and the hats on to make that significant move.
And what is it about the guided trade means what?
Okay, just to give you a quick tutorial, 55 African countries, from the time this significant milestone of signing to trade amongst ourselves was done in Kigali in 2018, 54 countries have all signed the agreement. And out of the 54, 43 have ratified, meaning they can trade amongst themselves. Okay. But not everybody is ready in terms of compliance, rules of origin, the tariffs, the non-tariff barriers, and just readiness. So on the 9th council meeting, we found out that 36 are ready to trade today. But because we don't want to have all the 36 coming on board with this guided trade, 6 countries volunteered to say, let's start with us. Let's harness the potential and also show the world that AfCFTA is indeed working. So what does that mean? This very month coming up, August, Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, Cameroon, Egypt, and Mauritius will actually physically trade for the entire world to see. So we will be the initiators and the pioneers of leaving Accra to Kigali, going to Dar es Salaam, going to Casablanca, moving to Yaoundé, and then you come down to Nairobi and hit Mauritius. So if we are doing all these trips, we are not just going as technocrats or as political figures, but we're going with traders, with the goods, with customs, with guided principles in the chain, and they will go through the process of shipping goods, delivering goods, going through the rules of origin and the tariffs. So spectators or viewers or potential traders will see the process, because we have to practicalize AfCFTA. And this is the decision they've come up with. And it's quite exciting, because once these 6 countries, of course, starting from Ghana, do the physical, actual trade, the rest will replicate. So we need this momentum to take off. And then the rest, they will say, will actualize the Africa we want. So that is, in essence, guided trade. And I do know for a fact, because we have meetings every Tuesday doing the preparatory stages, that August is the designated month. And it will end in a symbolic Senegal visit by the minister and the stakeholders to do that. The launch of guided trade is official.
Okay, so you're going to have businesses actually to test the AfCFTA, the processes of AfCFTA. And this is going to be guided. So it's like is it similar to what you had with the pilot that we had? The
start of trade,
of trade with Casapreco and Gabon.
Exactly. So that was a very limited and very much more focused on Ghana. So, but this time we've expanded it to 7 countries. But because it's starting from Ghana, we say we are visiting 6 countries, and then they will come to Ghana to end by just going through the reversal. If we leave Accra, we go to Casablanca with Casapreco, Grell, and there's a company that the name is coming. They do palm, no palm, or I think one of those. But these are the companies that come off my head. But we are focusing a lot also on SMEs, small, medium enterprise with products that are Ghanaian, and then we take it along. But all these countries that we're going to, if we get to Nairobi, definitely the Pick and Peel and the Kenyan SMEs and big African-based companies will also be able to ship their goods to the next destination, Kigali, Dar es Salaam. So by the time we are done with this guided trade, it will look like the mystery would have been broken.
Good.
So Africans can actually physically know the process from leaving the warehouse with your product to the port, going through customs, getting it delivered. Of course, that's where the logistics and infrastructure company and indigenous company will travel along with us. And when we get to the other side, the customs, with our customs, will do their interaction, use the e-tarrif, use the rules of origin book, and see that the 88.7 tariff-free quota that they're talking about is actually practical. So we are very excited. We've done quite a lot of milestones to make this happen next month.
Good. And like you said, so right after this guided trade, it's supposed to send a signal to the rest of businesses of the continent that, look, we can commence trading under AfCFTA.
Exactly, precisely the mission. And the companies and countries are ready. But it's a first step.
Yeah.
That's always become
somebody needs to take
the initiative.
Okay.
And Ghana.
So these 6 countries are going to do
they're
that.
ready.
With
they're
Ghana
ready.
leading.
Ghana leading, of course, with the Secretariat being housed in Ghana. Naturally, the business community in Ghana will have to take the first step to visit their brethren in these selected countries. There are more countries that wanted to come on board, but for the sake of the timing and also the experimentation, we limited it to these 6 countries. But that is not to say that right after phase 1, there could be a phase 2 and 3 to get through all the 36. And it's also to encourage all the other countries that have not finished with their processes in terms of customs and the tariff and the schedules to come on board. So give or take within the next 12 months, all 54 African countries should be trading amongst themselves.
That is great, and for a lot of people, and we on this platform, we've had a lot of calls and questions coming in from folks across the continent. The last time East Africa Business Council reached out, the Southern Africa Business, SADC, their business council, for instance, also reached out. We have COMESA who reached out and saying that, look, in the Eastern African zone, we're not hearing much of the AfCFTA like you folks in Ghana are doing. And so they watch us on the YouTube and they get surprised. So if I take Mr. Dr. Andrew Othiono, for instance, at the office of the Ugandan Prime Minister, who is in charge of income as well as jobs, and economist at the office of the Ugandan Prime Minister, he's been worried that he's not getting the same enthusiasm in Uganda. I believe that this will send a signal. Now that we have a rules of origin manual, we have e-tarrif book, we also have your guided trade that you talked about. I believe that it should send some signal to the rest of Africa that we are getting there.
Exactly the objective. And I'm happy that it's Uganda, because we're going to do this through you and your medium, that it will also be along the way share the experiences. So it will be live streamed as we enter a country, how we're received at the borders, how we go through customs, how we get the goods cleared, how much is actually zero tariff, what needs to be wholly produced in the country. So all these education will be part of the tour, and it will make it demystified, and our brethren in Uganda will see what will transpire at Kigali and at Dar es Salaam, because it's closer, and of course Mombasa. So they will see us doing what we are supposed to. In the next phase, definitely Kampala will be on board. So the vision is to get all of us, but for now it's 36 that are ready. That if we were to do all 36 countries, it will be possible, but we've chosen 6. And the logistics have been tested, they are verified, so it will look as the blueprint for all the other countries to be on the same level. Okay. And mind you, Africa is a huge continent with infrastructural bottlenecks. Yeah. So we've come far. From 2018, it's in record time. If you look at the WTO record, they haven't been able to do what we've done in 4 years. So there's a strong sense of belief that we can do this, and we are doing it. So that is where I think the enthusiasm, and of course Wamkele, the Secretary General and his team, and the National Coordination Office of Ghana, and the government of Ghana is so fully backing this economic integration that it will inspire other countries to know that we can trade.
Yeah.
So guided trade is really, if you put it succinctly, it's the blueprint, the 101 in AfTA that we are embarking on
AfTA
next
101.
month. Yes.
That's great. But at the national level, though, what are we to see? What are we to see from the National Coordination Office and from the Ministry of Trade and Industry and all of that for businesses in Ghana who are looking up to a lot of activities, how to take advantage and all of that? What should we hear? What should we get from you?
Sam, this is where I think I wake up at 4 every day. I'm so pumped up to be in the office. The last 4 months, we've spent a lot of energy in building the blocks and finishing the national policy framework. Because, for trade to be effective, you need a policy to guide. Yeah. Now, thankfully, Ghana, under the leadership of the Minister for Trade, Honorable Kojo Chamantin and his team, and the Coordination Office, Dr. Farid, and all of us, the policy document is ready, and it will be launched by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on Tuesday, the 2nd of August.
This very Tuesday?
This very Tuesday at Kempinski. So we're using your medium also to let the business community, and they've all been sent their invites, the development partners, public policy makers, and private sector to convene and actually feel the document and get copies of the trade policy that will guide AfTA for Ghana. So it's the national policy framework and the action plan for boosting trade with Africa. It's taken 2 years, but it's going to be outdoored on Tuesday, and we're very pumped up. You see the work that has gone into it, the meticulousness and the depth of a national trade policy. But it's geared towards economic integration with our friends and family on the continent. So come Tuesday at Kempinski, we will spend the day to outdoor our national policy framework and action plan for boosting trade in Africa. But that within it is where you see the last 3-4 months we've been extremely busy harnessing the private sector, most importantly the SMEs, preparedness for the access to the market on the continent. So we have a project called the Market Expansion Project, and it's not been easy. When you are SMEs, you have 2-3 things that you have to really be ready for: packaging, finance, and access to market. So there are about 200 companies that there's a whole division headed by Dr. Atta Mills. They go out in the field and they visit companies and they sit through, so they call it the Market Expansion Program. They look at your readiness and they help you prepare for the market. And I think right after the guided trade tour, a lot of companies will feel confident, even if you're doing something small on the scale of $20,000 or $30,000, you can enter the market with your product. So the 200 companies, I think about 100 plus are, I can say, ready, but not all of them can go on the trip. So selected few will definitely be joining the trip to showcase their product and go through the process. The last 2-3 months, GRA, the customs, they come here and they do the vetting process, the readiness, and you can call it the vetting of companies that will be AfTA certified. So it's been a very grueling but exciting journey, and
very refreshing.
It is exciting.
Refreshing. I'm sure the private sector will be also happy to hear this.
These are opportunities. It's Tuesday
in particular. Yes, because we've had quite a number of them awaiting such a document to work with.
Yes.
Sort of. So now that it's in, I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be excited. What would you finally tell the entire Ghanaian citizenry about AfCFTA? What are we to hope for? It looks like we have all the tools to work with. We have a guided trading coming up. What would you finally tell?
We are not all rosy, excited, and ignoring impediments. Africa has challenges, and as we prepare businesses to go into the foray of exporting Ghanaian-made products to other African countries, we have to be cognizant of, one, preparation, and two, how to deal with the bottlenecks. So thankfully for us, how to deal with the logistics. We're also engaging the infrastructure community, the companies that are ready to help, for example, get the route of shipping between us and our, even the ECOWAS market, the SADC and COMESA and all the other regional blocks, how to traverse from country A to country B. We are working internally with big companies that probably will accompany us on this trip. So to excite private sector is to get them more information, come through the process, get your company to get certified, verified, get yourself the certificate of origin, AfCFTA certificate of origin, and also do not be dismayed, because every step you will have people to support you. And we need to also encourage SMEs, especially women and the youth, to know that this is actually for them. The next protocol that they're discussing, apart from digital regularization, is also women and youth. But we need to focus a lot more on the women, bring them up, because if AfCFTA takes off, as we're about to do next month, it will alleviate poverty across the continent. So for us, our focus is more of getting our companies, our SMEs, our private sector ready. And we have the BRCs, mind you, we have the business resource centers in specific areas. I'm sure more will come, but let's be available and also avail yourself to be guided and to be supported, to be ready to trade with Africa. It's only Ghana with 32 million people, but if you look at the continent, it's 1.2 billion people. And a product from a town, let me use my village Axim, can go to 1.2 billion people. That is the power of trading amongst ourselves. So once we open up and you get people to see the big picture, you'll be encouraged to work assiduously on your product, get the packaging right, seek the support you need, get information from AfCFTA, and walk through the process of being ready to trade with Africa.
So we are getting there from all the actions that you are witnessing, from all the indications or the conversations that is being had around this whole vision of Africa to integrate its market. We are indeed getting to that point where we are going to trade as a continent among ourselves, not like we are used to, that is within the various regional economic communities, whether within ECOWAS, say from Ghana trading to Nigeria or Ghana trading with Ivory Coast. No, this time trading across regions, so from ECOWAS to SADC, all the way from Ghana to, say, South Africa, or from COMESA to, let's say, EAC, maybe from Namibia to, let's say, Kenya, for instance. That is where we are hitting. The continent is going to trade among itself, and it's important that you get to understand, you get to know how this is going, so that you can take advantage of it. And indeed, this week, the AfCFTA Policy Network, APN, seized the opportunity for a very massive summit that was held at the University of Ghana Business School to sensitize, educate lecturers and students and everyone within the trading space about AfCFTA, and particularly how it can benefit young people. Listen. The AfCFTA Policy Network, APN, an international non-governmental organization, has held its second edition of the State of AfCFTA Trading Summit on the role of the youth in trading under the AfCFTA, security and AfCFTA, commodity trading and AfCFTA, and automotive industry and AfCFTA. Executive Director of AfCFTA Policy Network, Louis Yao Afol, urged the youth to see themselves as the major beneficiaries of the AfCFTA as a continental trading policy.
The time is coming. If we give ourselves 5 to 10 years, the youth of Africa, according to the World Bank statistics, 50% are youth. Therefore, it is imperative that African government make policies that are for the youth. National government should have policies that are for the youth. It is time for the private sector to have programs that really meet the needs of youth.
Dignitaries and experts highlighted the need to prepare in order to be able to harness the benefits of a continental trade policy such as the AfCFTA.
The AfCFTA Secretariat is currently preparing a protocol on youth and women, as they have a role to play as important drivers of economies across Africa. Africa has the youngest population globally, and so it is in order that the youth gain knowledge and are provided with opportunities that will enable them fully participate in the world's largest free trade area.
The keynote speech delivered on behalf of the Secretary General by a principal advisor to the Secretary General, Peter Sewonu, highlighted the current state of the AfCFTA, emphasizing that tools such as the Rules of Origin Manual, AfCFTA e-tarrif book, and the AfCFTA website have all been launched.
So if you take the tariff concessions, out of the tariff verifications we've done, as of last year, October 2021, there were 29 of the schedules that were certified as having met the minimum threshold for the start of trading. So basically, Ghana was part of that group together with some other US countries. So when the ministers met recently, there were a few more countries they included. So now we have 36. So these 36 countries are the countries that are ready to start trading.
He also announced that the Secretariat and its partners will be embarking on a guided trade among 7 African countries to signal official trading under the AfCFTA.
One of the initiatives that His Excellency the Secretary General had to inform them about is the AfCFTA Facilitated and Guided Trade Initiative. So basically, you've done all of that, but member states are not trading. So you then have to put in the additional effort of facilitating and guiding the member states to initiate the first trade. So we have 7 countries that have come on board and that have said we want to actually be sort of one of the first to actually export under the AfCFTA.
Different sessional engagements of the summit highlighted important thematic areas such as the role of the youth under AfCFTA, security and AfCFTA, commodity trading and AfCFTA, and automotive industry and AfCFTA. Weather report for all African cities. The flight schedules leaving the trade hub of the continent to the rest of African cities, also the forex rates for the African market, and the AfCFTA status for countries next. that's it for the Single African Market Program. And I have to remind you once again that we now have 87.7% of rules of origin that have been negotiated by trade ministers on the continent of Africa. The trade ministers have therefore launched the manual that contains these rules of origin, and that manual is seated on the website of the AfCFTA Secretariat. They have also launched the e-tarrif book, the tariff book that contains the tariff offers of the various party states of the AfCFTA, and that document is also seated on the website of the AfCFTA Secretariat. I would urge you to apprise yourself with the content of these tools that is supposed to guide all of us on the continent of Africa to commence meaningful trading on the continent of Africa. Now, the trade ministers of the continent have also approved the fact that we undertake a guided trade among 7 countries on the continent of Africa. 7 countries. They have demonstrated their readiness to commence trading. It includes Kenya, it includes Ghana, it includes Cameroon, and a host of others, 7 of them, and we are going to start trading among these countries. What it is that right after that demonstration, everyone can now start trading using the tools that have been launched by the Council of Trade Ministers. That's the Rules of Origin Manual, the e-tarrif book, and all of that. Everything has been made possible, and all actions are being put together in order to ensure that the continent of Africa is able to trade among itself. Thank you for watching the program. I will continue to encourage you. Tag along, know what is happening, learn more, read from every sources, websites, and then take advantage of the AfCFTA. Let it impact you positively. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week.
There's a African righteous in the name of great Africa. It's the fight and conquer now. In the name of grace